that life. Give you some insight. Come on, the girls, they gon' give me words. That's the kind of crazy. Rewind. Where you from? Where you from? I want to know where you from. If you representing these people, what I'm representing. I don't want to talk. You ain't talking like this here. You ain't talking like about these negative people. First of all, if I gotta teach you about a megalith, you know what I'm saying? That speaks for itself. And your constitutions, and a Homo sapiens sapien. And the Egyptians didn't discover this. They didn't build the Sphinx. The Egyptians didn't build the Sphinx or the pyramids. That's a fact. You got to school you, Homo sapien. Don't know a thing. Man, listen, this song right here, I'm telling you, it's my favorite song this year. They don't know a thing. They asking you, trying to reverse. Rewind. Dropping juice for your lanes. Homo sapiens don't know a thing. Make your whole DNA change. Make your whole brain. Ain't no great side brain. I'm a doula, I gotta do the truth. Got a problem with his chain. I mean, cyclops. I get surgical at night. Make them hyper bust. Y'all don't know about us. Yeah, we did a better deal. Y'all don't know about us. Y'all don't need to help with it. On the truth when it comes to it. Step on it like I said. It's a lot of dudes that don't even know about it. Not for monkeys, man. Boy, hold on. Boy, hold on. I got these boys holding up. Got the nose on. Can't get your light on. Give it up like I'm scratching. 6 with this. Straight fit. No sources. Where you from? Megalithic structures. I'm introducing you to this stuff. Never heard of it. My globe. Stop, man. You want to see me. What else you don't even know that you ain't black? I'm black, man. We the mega shame, man. Come on, black power to make our structure. Listen, you have to be highly advanced. Black. You don't know that? But you know this right here? Uh-oh. My old man. I put him on when I tell him I talk. Look at my that light and I'm feeling like talk. Look at my body, equal stop. I could create it ain't easy without. I got that power, I'm stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but talk. Look at my eyes, the fire raw. Bringing that light and I'm feeling like talk. Look at my body, equal stop. I could create it ain't easy without. I got that power, I'm stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but talk. Look at my eyes, the fire raw. Bringing that light and I'm feeling like talk. Look at my body, equal stuff. I can create it an easy with thought. I got that power, I'm stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but talk. Look at my eyes, the fire raw. Bringing that light and I'm feeling like talk. Look at my body, equal stuff. I can create it an easy with thought. I got that power, I'm stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but talk. Do the truth, Starnation 777. No, gotta put on your helmet, God knows my. Shout out to all my war niggas. Tall Star Nation. I put my helmet, I feel it but tall. Look at my eyes, the fire and raw. Bringing that light and I'm feeling like tall. Look at my body, equal stop. I can create it and eat with thought. I got that power, I'm stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but tall. Look at my eyes, that fire and raw. Bringing that light and I'm feeling like tall. Look at my body, equal stop. I can create it and eat with thought. I got that power, I'm stronger than hope. Stronger than hope, stronger than hope. Kings a lot. Your helmet on, black, tall. Your helmet on, like the whole man. Look at my life. That is your helmet on, look at my life. I put in my helmet, I feel it, but tall. Look at my eyes, I fire up. Bringing that light, and I'm feeling like hope. Look at my body, equal star. I could create it and eat it without. I got that power, stronger than hope, stronger than hope, stronger than hope. Hey, stronger than hope. Stronger than hope, what? I put in my hand when I feel it but talk. Look at my eyes and fire on wall. Bringing out light, I'm feeling like talk. Throw your hands up if you know you're the original people on this planet. They said it was spiritual beings, having a human experience. The Homo sapien sapiens, man, that's a human experience. They said it was spiritual beings, having a human experience. The Homo sapien sapiens, man, that's a human experience. What's true? Huh? And then on the 8 2 was next. Yeah, I come through in a straight flag. Spaceship, where I'm going at. Put it all together. No, what I do, boy? Cracking all these codes. These boys ain't doing that. That's a fact. Can't Neanderthals can't explain that. Homo sapiens can't explain that. No man can explain that right now on this planet.
Having a human experience.
They said it was spiritual beings. Having a human experience. The Homo sapiens said, and that's a human experience.
My
They
own
said it was
time.
spiritual beings. Having a human experience. The Homo sapiens said, and that's a human experience. A human experience. Black women, we don't got
Coffee. Say the ETs drink coffee. Y'all wanna learn something? I'm always about information, right? Alright. I'm gonna put my soul into that song, bro. I was talking about like as a human experience. Trying to tell y'all, man, I'm coming from the soul of this joint. Which one y'all want to learn about? Y'all want to hear from a professor, or y'all want to hear from? All right, I got one. Hold on, hold on.
Flowing on my spine, my third eye glowing. Check this, you man, my eyes are growing. Every hit I make is holy music. God, my God, it's God. It's God. Flowing on my spine, my third eye glowing. Check this, you man, my eyes are growing. Every hit I make is holy music. God, my God, it's God.
The boy said, "God, Lord."
Years ago.
All right.
Sapiens, sapiens. Homo sapiens, sapiens.
Listen to this, y'all.
And now we come to ourselves. Modern humans, Homo sapiens sapiens. People capable of profound intellectual reasoning, of sophisticated communication, the communication not only of facts, but of thoughts and concepts and ideas.
Mm-hmm.
People capable of emotion, of loving, of hating, of laughing, of frowning.
So these people were an upgrade from the Homo sapien. They were given a gift. They were upgraded, right? Able to love, dream, think, then eventually go to the stars in a small mass majority of time. Watch, listen. When you claim Neanderthals, we split from a chimp. When you claim that, we lose our power. When you say Lord Talk didn't exist, then you definitely lose our power because you're saying one of the most profound beings on the planet didn't exist. He erected the pyramids, so you sound crazy.
Ourselves in all our
Boy, sound crazy, boy.
fascinating
You got
diversity.
the right one, boy.
And in this lecture, we're going to face a second question of
Are you
questions
listening?
in the human past. Where, when, and how did anatomically modern humans, Homo sapiens sapiens, first evolve? We're going to begin by describing three major grades of archaic forms of Homo sapiens, which flourished in tropical Africa between 200 and 100,000 years ago. So the outer chronological limit of this lecture is about a couple of 100,000 years in the past. Then we're going to compare two competing hypotheses, which try and account for the origins of modern humans.
Drop Jews, change your
The
life.
multi-regional and the out of Africa hypotheses.
Y'all ain't gonna never forget me.
Next, we're going to describe and discuss the compelling evidence from molecular biology, especially mitochondrial DNA, which strongly suggests that Homo sapiens sapiens evolved in tropical Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, we're going to survey the ecological background to this development and the very limited archaeological evidence for the appearance of new hunting kits south of the Sahara about 100,000 years ago or earlier. So the chronological span of this lecture.
So we had hunting kits 1,000 years ago or earlier. Hunting kits. And we're talking about civilizations that had sewer systems and pillars, megalith structures, pyramids, and sphinx. And they got a hunting kit. If you can't put that together, I don't know what kind of people y'all like, what planet y'all really on. So you a Decepticon then. You know what's up. You just a Decepticon. Or I'm teaching you every day something new, sparking your consciousness up, raising you up, right? Through the truth doing that, boy.
It's from about 200,000 years ago to around 70,000
I know
years
that chunk came in and went out.
earlier. You'll recall back
Don't
in
want no
lecture
smoke
2,
with me.
I remarked
What?
that Charles Darwin himself expressed a belief that Africa was the cradle of humankind. He did so on the basis of the high number of apes in that continent.
Apes.
And he had stressed through his theory of even...
Remember, we split from an ape. Split from an ape. We split from an ape. Tell all your kids we split from an ape. Tell all your ancestors. Disrespect your ancestors. Lord Toph, Tahuti, Mayat. You know what I'm talking about? Some of the great pharaohs that ruled. Just mark them all off. Scratch them out the game. They didn't exist. They didn't get initiated by Lord Toph. None of them. They all got the science from them. Who initiated every being? How can you be fake if you initiating these people into your priesthood? And then you got the Book of the Dead, right? Then you got Emerald Tablets. Then you got the Bible. Then you got the Sumerian, the King's List of Sumerian. You read, you don't know. You know what I'm trying to tell you people, man? So when you don't know, you make yourself look like a fool. If you don't know about the megalith structures and what it takes, just alone what it takes to build a megalith structure.
Evolution and natural selection.
I'm on another level. You need to fall back and take some notes. You don't need to come against the light. You need to listen. Teaching you something.
The close anatomical relationships between humans and apes. This, of course, horrified the Victorians, who did not want to be thought of as having been descended from apes.
They said, man, we come from apes. Oh, goodness. Embarrassing, bro. They don't want to they didn't even want to think about coming from apes. Y'all saying we come from evolution. You're throwing all of our great ones up. Even Harriet Tubman, you throwing her under the bus saying she coming from apes. All the good people, bro. Malcolm X come from apes. Muhammad Ali come from apes. So Muhammad Ali come from apes. We all come from a Homo sapien. And Muhammad Ali look like an Olmec. Take a picture of the Olmec. Go look at my joint on my channel. And look at Muhammad Ali, put them side by side. People talking about green aliens, bro. You lost, you warped. You are agent. You're working for these people, bro.
And as we've seen, Charles Darwin was correct. Africa was the cradle of humankind. But an increasing body of new information, especially cutting-edge genetic research, has shown that the same continent was probably also the cradle of modern humans, Homo sapiens sapiens, as well. Now,
so the correct term for these beings are Homo sapiens sapiens. That's a fact. There's so much stuff, bro. I got. I don't even think you understand what you did. You just opened up a gateway. Reversal, man. Constitution 13. A shame.
This is a remarkable
and admit it live. I'm a reversal. Like a punk. Like when you get up the road, you're gonna say, "Hey, I'm gonna hit that boy." Hey, ain't nothing else. That's the reversal go both ways now. It can go in both frequencies. That's why when your frequency is scheming and scheming, it's gonna be scheming and scheming all way, every angle. You talking to your husband and talking to your wife, talking to your kids is scheming. You know what I'm saying? That energy is there.
Face. Because for years, archaeologists considered tropical Africa a cultural backwater. Its moment in the spotlight of human prehistory, they said, was with the origins of humans. It was the cradle of humankind. After that, tropical Africa quietly vegetated, isolated from the rest of the world by the vast spaces of the Sahara. You can hardly blame them for this point of view. Not because of racism or anything like that, but simply because of the lack of evidence. There were only a handful of archaeologists throughout tropical Africa. When I first worked there in the early 1960s, there were about 12. Thousands of square miles. Between them, over many years, they found a handful of archaic-looking human skulls and thousands of crude stone artifacts. Fortunately, new fossil discoveries, as well as molecular biology, have painted a very different picture of later human evolution south of the Sahara. Africa was a crucible of human evolution and a crucible of innovation for thousands of years. What then do we know about this very ancient Africa? Even today, I should warn you, we have but the thinnest patchwork of human fossils and important sites. The distances are enormous. The archaeological record is rich, but has hardly been scratched. You see, archaeologists are human. They prefer to work in the more spectacular areas. Central America, Europe, Southwest Asia, North America, where there are spectacular finds. The archaeological record of the origins of humans is, to put it mildly, unspectacular. But it is of crucial importance to our understanding of ourselves.
Too loud.
After over a century of work, we know that at least 3 graves of archaic-looking Homo sapiens flourished in Africa, just as archaic Homo sapiens had evolved in Europe. These archaic Homo sapiens populations had evolved ultimately from Homo erectus, Homo ergaster, as we saw in lecture 3. All had larger skull vaults and many other anatomical features like those of modern humans. In particular, their limbs were modern looking, their skulls were more rounded, and many of the more extreme features of Homo erectus were reduced as brain size increased. The details of this anatomy are the domains of specialists. All I can do here is very briefly summarize what we know at the moment. Once again, I'm going to use some labels. You'll find them defined in the course guide. An early archaic human, Homo sapiens, and I mean early, was widespread from southern to northern Africa about 200,000 years ago.
So 200,000 years ago. Right? So look, check this out. Boom. 200,000 years ago, you still couldn't make a megalith structure. Through your whole existence as Homo sapien, from migrating to becoming a Homo sapien, you still can't erect a megalith structure. What does that mean?
We know almost nothing about these people, except the few fossils we do have. Are heavily built, thick skulls with massive brow ridges and other anatomical features which are much closer to those of Homo erectus than other skulls. Clearly, their ancestry is among very ancient humans in Africa.
Teach
We
your son
talked
today,
earlier
boy.
about the difference between a linear scheme of human evolution and the more bushing one. I think here particularly you must think again of the bush, of many different varieties of humans south of the Sahara. One of these varieties, archaic, early archaic Homo sapiens, were heavily built, quite ancient looking humans. Then there's another group, late archaic Homo sapiens, as opposed to early. Now here, the picture gets very much more complex. You're looking at a mosaic. And the word mosaic is a good word, of different features found on the surviving skulls. Some of the features, like brow ridges, are ancient. They recall the early Homo sapiens and other archaic forms. Others, on the other hand, more rounded skulls, modern-looking limbs, tend to favor a more modern grade of human, with the modern features tending to outnumber the ancient ones. You're talking about a very scattered, isolated African population, numbering in a few thousands, small bands, many of them living in extreme isolation. So the evolutionary pressures on them were the result very often of isolation.
Caves.
Now, these more modern-looking features tend to date to around 100,000 years ago or somewhat earlier.
Wow. 100,000. So 100,000 years ago, from your existence of walking upright to migrating, still can't come up with a megalith. Let's see how far we can go back, but still nothing. Your whole species. So you X'd out of the darn list to qualify for the beings that even created these joints. You definitely ain't connected to these people. I know you didn't. Your people did not build it. Heck no, they didn't.
So they're a little later
bats like y'all.
than the early archaic ones. Then there's a third group, and this group is anatomically modern. Only a very few archaic features. Their heads and skulls are rounded, brow ridges reduced, faces look modern, and there are only a few archaic features which vary from one specimen to the other. Remember that all these portraits are drawn of so few specimens that the whole picture may change over a generation. Our research on this is only
I got dingy bat shirts coming, so you know who did it.
Hardest.
Dingy bat shirts. We caught one of them dingy bat shirts. Take my words.
Places to do field work in the world because of the conditions out in the bush and the
And
logistics.
hypercombust.
So it's hardly surprising.
Be yourself. Stop trying to be do the truth,
than it
punk.
does in other parts of the world. But at this early point in research, we do know that these modern-looking humans were widely distributed in eastern and southern Africa as early as 115,000 years ago, maybe earlier.
I got time today.
Very complex evolutionary picture. Some populations probably preserved archaic features and behavior longer than others. Modern humans' features probably developed in a few populations, maybe widely separated ones. The same evolutionary pressures may have occurred in different parts of Africa. We don't really know.
So the Ebola.
But we do know
Ebobo.
from the very limited fossil evidence The evolutionary developments which led to Homo sapiens sapiens had run their full course in Africa by about 100,000 to 70,000 years ago in East and Southern Africa, far earlier than in Europe or Asia. You're looking at a period of time when the Neanderthals flourished in Europe and Southwest Asia. And the changeover in Africa seems to have been a rapid one in evolutionary terms. It took maybe 100,000 years, far shorter than the period, say, between Homo erectus and that with archaic Homo sapiens. Same old thing. So it took almost 1 million years. So if it take 1 million years for you to evolve from one species to the other, right? Then that means that wow, that's crazy. So the Homo sapiens turned into an alien. Y'all turn into map like y'all turn into like big eye, little pale skin alien type beings in the future. Do y'all know that? Let me show y'all something. Hold on. After this video done, we're gonna go deep. We're gonna see how the Homo sapiens would look in the future. A long period of I don't think about that. Huh? I can't think past that. Y'all gonna make it hypercombust tonight. So such fossil evidence we have, coming from archaeologically one of the least known areas of the world, points to Africa it hypercombust as tonight, the cradle. I'm gonna show you how you're gonna look in the future if you're a Homo sapiens. Or does it? Intense controversy surrounds this hypothesis. I would say that looking at prehistory as a whole, there are 4 great controversies. The first one is the origins of humans. The second one is the origins of modern humans. The third one is the peopling of the Americas. And the fourth one is the origins of agriculture. There are many others, but those are the big ones, and this is one of the big ones. Why? Psychologically, probably because everybody wants to find the first. But in practice, it is a lot of this sterile arguments about minor features of a handful of highly fragmentary fossils. The problem is that we're trying to reconstruct very, very complex evolutionary processes from teeny fragments of an enormous jigsaw. And the discussion goes on and on and on, but the fossil discoveries are few and far between. But to boil a very complicated controversy down to the simplest terms, the arguments over the modern humans pit 2 schools of thought, one against the other. There were those who believe that modern humans evolved in Africa and spread from there all over the globe. This is the majority viewpoint. Then there's the minority viewpoint, a group of scholars who argue that modern humans evolved independently and more or less simultaneously in different parts of the world. This is a multi-regional hypothesis. So it's 2 hypotheses, y'all. Out of Africa hypothesis. 2 of them. Those who argue for the multi-regional hypothesis claim that there is fossil evidence for evolutionary change in the direction of modern humans, both in Europe and in East Asia. By the way, it makes me bring up this. Okay, if the Sphinx is almost 1 million years old, right? So, okay, well, wow, that's a long time. Wow. Proof that's 1 million years old. So we have nothing here in physical evidence that's 1 million years old. We have nothing here that has been preserved for 1 million years. So we don't have dinosaur fossils. How old are some of the dinosaur fossils y'all find? Next thing y'all say dinosaurs didn't exist. Well, if you it's just common sense. Now this is gonna blow your mind.
This is hypercombustion 101. Listen, gotta check this out. If you find a dinosaur bone that could possibly be millions of years old, right? All right, listen, just check it out. If you could find a dinosaur bone that's 1,000,000 years old or more on this planet, right? 1,000,000 years old or more on this planet. Listen, 1,000,000 or 1,000,000 years or more. 1,000,000 years or more. If you go find, listen to me real closely, y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen, listen. If you can find a dinosaur bone that is millions, possibly millions of years old, right? Hundreds and thousands of bones from prehistoric, ancient, giant beings, right? Huge, huge. Actually been to some museums. Wow, dude, you've been to a couple museums. I've actually seen some bones. So now we actually got proof of a physical evidence joint, as well as the Sphinx that these joints are millions of years old, boy. Y'all go look up the Sumerians Kings list. It's documented in Sumeria that the kings lived for over 10,000 years. 12,000 years, kings list. You got one king that lived for 5,000 years. 10,000 years. You got one king, 2,000 years, 3,000 years. And one king lived for 4,000 years. One king lived 1,000 years. 1,000 years. All these years, how y'all living this long? How y'all living this long? What? Ah, dang. Wow, that's pretty dope.
In other words, modern humans evolved.
How you living this long in Samaria? And then think about this. It's gonna blow your mind. The kings list in Samaria, right? They were all proclaimed kings in Samaria. Guess who was over these kings? Nigga Zeta. Nigga Zeta is Lord Talk to Hootie, King Solomon, Enoch. Huh? All these beings are the same beings. If you got kings lists living for 12,000 years, 20,000 years, these people living all this time, how long does this the other being live over them? In the Bible, I say Lamech lived 777 years. 777 years? Go look at some of the years, how long some of these beings was living. Do anybody know anything about DNA?
More or less simultaneously.
I'm gonna make you hypercombust tonight, boy. Watch this
Asia,
whole joint.
In Europe, in Africa, and elsewhere. They argue.
He's still on the Homo sapiens, just listen. Got all night. I'm going in about
Asia, Homo erectus.
I'm going in about 10, 11. I stop probably at 11:30.
Ever more modern anatomical features through the millennia, until some population evolved into modern humans. They also believe that Homo sapiens sapiens evolved from Neanderthal populations in the West, despite DNA evidence which suggests that the Neanderthals were too fundamentally different to interbreed with modern. The multi-regional hypothesis is based almost entirely on fragmentary human remains, on this incomplete jigsaw we were talking about. The fossil evidence, actually incomplete as it is, does not tend to support the multi-regional hypothesis. Furthermore, as I just said, and this is a very fundamental point, DNA extracted from a Neanderthal limbo in Germany shows that there was complete incompatibility in terms of DNA from those archaic Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, with modern humans, to the point that they couldn't interbreed. And if this applies to the Neanderthals, it probably applies to other areas as well. And it seems increasingly like modern humans evolved in one area. That area is Africa. I say this with some confidence because there is a new tool that's been applied to the origins of humans, which has given us a startling new perspective on this whole problem. That is molecular biology. This new approach has played a decisive role in the debate, to the point that most scholars now believe modern humans did indeed evolve in Africa. The basis for this is mitochondrial DNA. Now, this particular form of DNA is inherited only through the maternal line. It is female DNA. It does not mix with or become diluted by paternal DNA. This means that you've got a sort of chain of a potentially reliable link between modern and ancestral populations. This approach, which was refined in the 1980s, has involved mitochondrial DNA analysis of women from all the continents, not just Africans, Europeans, Asians, Pacific Islanders. And it shows that the differences between all these women are very small, which suggests, and this is the fundamental point, that they split off from one another relatively recently. However, and this is where the fun really starts, the Africans in this song displayed enough differences from the others.
Did y'all hear that? He said they split from each other recently.
To suggest that they were much earlier. It suggests that the Africans developed from diverse forms of mitochondrial DNA, more diverse forms than other present-day populations elsewhere in the world. How did this happen? Because they had more time to develop such mutations. When they discovered this, the scientists were excited, carried out further research, and developed an even larger database of nuclear DNA and of blood groups and enzymes. And together, these databases display a primary split between Africans and non-Africans. Then later, a split between Eurasians and Southwest Asians. This data implies an early split in Africa, a dispersal of population from Africa, and then another split or bifurcation in Asia. This is a very complex debate. The chronology of it is subject to considerable argument. Methods are being continually refined, but enough research has been done to strongly hint that modern humans evolved in Africa, and that the ancestral Homo sapiens populations may have lived in Africa between 200 and 100,000 years ago. When this discovery was first announced, there was a great deal of excitement.
Okay, so all that just for this. Yep. So think about that. 100,000 years ago, you was in Africa. All right. And then we got the Sphinx. It's almost 1,000,000 years old. You got dinosaur bones that's 1,000,000 years old and more. So why you can't have another monumental site? The Sphinx is melted into the ground, fam. So it's earthquake proof, all that crap. This joint is melted into the ground on a whole different base. It's like a whole different level of megalith stones connect and then it melts it down to the ground. I'm talking about high tech, bro. Like no man can do it. It's just like crop circles. Some of the crop circles. Man, no human can do these crop circles, bro. Show me what technology y'all got to make a crop circle. This man talking about, look, it's certain people saying, how do they build the megaliths? How do they build the megaliths? Well, that's the mystery. That's what makes it so powerful, because you don't know how they build them. You don't know. And you can't do it. You can't do it. And you don't know. Now, if you don't know and you learn it, say, man, thanks, Dude the Truth, for teaching me about the megalith game. Megalith people. Our ancestors, they really was here before the Homo sapiens. They built the megalith structures. They can't be created because we did our research on megalith structures. We know that the megalith structures are profound. They're profound. They're profound. Like engineers all around the world go to Kim and study the Sphinx in the pyramids of Giza, and other megalith sites all around the world. Why do engineers, the top-ranking Homo sapiens sapien of your species, go to the land where my people from, Sumeria, Lower Talk, the Nagas, the Olmec, all the Olmec was there, the Ethiopians. Why would they go to that land? You know what I'm saying? The Arcadians. Why would they go to this land? Huh? And study, learn. Discussion. Because it's like nothing they ever seen before in their life. Just like you can't duplicate it to this day. No man can build a pyramid. No man can make a megalith obelisk and lift it right now in the sky. No Caucasian, no black, no white, no brown, no green, no purple, no yellow, no Chinese man, nothing. Nothing doing that. You tell me who did that. We ain't ET. I'm tired of the ET stuff, man. We ain't ET. Scratch the aliens off. Take them out. Yep, we're taking them out. Now, who did it? Was it the Africans, the Ethiopians, the Laboians? You know what I'm saying? Was it the Laboians, the Caucasians, the Homo sapiens? Or was it the Indians? Or was it the Mexicans? Who was it? About mystery, an
African Eve.
First of all, if you don't know about a megalith structure, that just seals the cake because I'm teaching you too much now. And then the Decepticon game is on. Oh, you're dang right, I'm gonna switch it up. I know that switch it up frequency. That's why I tell people to go find out yourself. Switch it up frequency. Switch it up frequency. Switch it up. Switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up. Hey, what that song was? I'm gonna get it up. Blood Rock. I'm gonna get it up. I'm gonna switch it up. Do the truth coming. I'm gonna switch it up. Dude dropping truth. I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up. Hey, I got that boy. Whenever you ready, I released this video. I released it. I talked to one of my brothers. He was like, man, don't embarrass him like that, bro. He listened to the video. He heard the part where this man said the Mayans built the Sphinx. The Egyptians built the Sphinx, and this man say I didn't teach him his Constitution. Then he admitted to it on the video. I taught this man his Constitution, man. Give it up to me. You know, I'm gonna be in your life for a long time. I should be one of the most coolest dudes to you in the world. I know you like my swag, old hypercombustion, makes you hypercombust. You know what I'm saying? You like all that dingy bat. You like that. You like my swag. You're gonna keep saying it. So try to be me. Okay, so next thing, your next learning lesson is the manipulative structures. What does it take? Who are the people that did it? What technology would be used? And then what technology did they have at the time? Did they have the means to create the technology to cut rock? See, if we were back in history, say we claim Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, they didn't have the technology to even carve a stone. Their little hunting kits weren't strong enough. The tools they had, put it like this: you got granite, you got some of the hardest rocks, right? You have a black granite. This joint been carved. You have to have such a high type of tool to cut this granite, right? To cut this stone that's so remarkably hard. And then you got our people creating these statues that can't be created today. You can't get nobody to laser precision cut these joints and flatten out these joints like that and level them out and put precise lines and all this stuff. Just like this dude said, you would need a computer. If they didn't have computers back then, how did they do it? How did they do it? Let's stay on the Homo sapien sapien neck.
Female, a primordial female. It's the first modern human. This, of course, is nonsense, because geneticists look at populations, not individuals. We can say, at this point, with some confidence, the weight of the genetic evidence and of the archaeological evidence favors the out of Africa hypothesis. Many details of the data of this whole process remain highly controversial, and it will be a while before new methodologies enable us to refine. In particular, the date of the ancestral populations is highly uncertain. The biological anthropologist Robert Foley has argued that modern humans most likely evolved
created this
UFO location. He argues too that at about 100,000 years ago, or a little earlier, the African savanna, the crucible of the very first humans, would also have been an ideal environment for promoting the speciation of modern humans. He believes, and I agree with him, that modern humans evolved in a mosaic of changing tropical environments. And there they developed distinctive characteristics. Remember, these were isolated peoples, but peoples who had a wide-ranging behavior. In general terms and theoretical terms, we can say some things about these people. In response to this very mosaic-like environment, some groups may have developed very wide-ranging behavior. They were highly mobile. The food was in patches across a huge landscape. They may have lived in larger social groups. They may have been highly selective in their diet. And this behavior, in turn, may have led to other changes. I don't think there's much doubt now. Modern humans evolved in Africa. But what is the most striking difference between archaic and modern humans? It isn't our anatomy, although clearly there were differences. It is up here. It is our cognitive ability, our ability to plan, our ability to organize, our ability to reason logically, our ability to think and to conceptualize things theoretically. This is the big difference, because this impacts on every aspect of human existence.
Okay, that's the big difference, right? So if that's the big difference, so it took a million years for you to come to this conclusion of being able to think, right? And dream and all that. Why you still haven't made a megalith structure? So this man went through all that just to say that his species have not created any megalith structures on this planet. Think about it, y'all. I'm gonna let him finish. And I got the next one coming. The next one is the look at the Homo sapiens sapien, what it turns to in the next 1,000 years, 100 years, 50 years, 60, 70, 90 years. What this being turns into. It's gonna turn into something. I'm gonna let y'all see what the Homo sapiens sapien turns into. Just wait, I'll show you. I'm the sickest with this. Might make you hypercombust, boy.
Loving, having children, bringing them up. Your views of the world, your world view, which is something we'll talk about a lot later in the course, and in our relationships with others, to say nothing of more efficient technology. And the real issue with the origins of humans isn't when the skeletal human being appeared, the anatomical. It's when everything cognitive really started to resonate. Because as we'll see when we move to the great diaspora of modern humans, it was this behavior which enabled people to adapt to an extraordinary range of environments. In short, to all extremes of environment in the world.
All right. It's the moment y'all been waiting for. It's almost done.
This too may have evolved in Africa. So in a way, we've got to separate the person from the mind. In this mosaic of environments in tropical Africa, some groups.
Hey, that's a sanity. It's a sanity to my madness. You just gotta bear with me. If you bear with me, I can crack all your codes. I could show you. Just I'm showing y'all. Like, boom, check it out.
More efficient technology, more
I'm doing this for a reason.
Technology than the rather simple technology of the day, which reminds us rather of Neanderthal technology, which is hardly surprising because these were archaic human beings.
Here we go.
They may have lived in larger groups, which gave them the ability to plan hunting more efficiently. Say nothing of scheduling, collecting of plant foods by moving to the right groves, nuts, right season, for example. And also simply have planned their lives better. By doing this, they would have reduced the unpredictability of the environment in dramatic ways. One of the most striking things about modern humans is our ability to overcome the unpredictability, say, of climate change, to work around the limitations given us by a drought, and so on. What really happened in the long term, probably, was a very fundamental change in the way in which people went around gathering food, whether it was hunting or plant foods. The skills, cognitive reasoning, the improved technology, they have turned humans from mere scavengers and, albeit skilled, opportunistic hunters into stupid around gathering food, whether it was hunting.
Say it again. Who did?
Plant foods. The skills, cognitive reasoning, the improved technology.
Who did? Who turned them into skill?
From mere scavengers and, albeit skilled, opportunistic hunters into super predators that could hunt almost any animal on Earth and could also settle in almost any extreme environment as well. And as we will see in the next lecture, when humans spread, they spread to every environment in the world, and the only one they did not conquer initially were the offshore Pacific Islands, because that required the development of deep water canoes, the development of foods which could be stored, and long distance open water navigational skills.
Y'all get it? It stops when they when they get to the water. It stops when they get to the water.
When then did the It's critical technological and cognitive change.
As soon as these beings get to the water, they have no insight what's going on. They don't know where they at. They don't know how to make a ship. They don't know how to make a boat, a compass. They don't know how to. They basically stuck. See, that's why they say, well, some people used to think that the world was flat. Why? The people that think the world was flat, is not the same people that made a GPS certified split around the whole planet. Certified monumental split around the whole planet with all the darn monumental sites all around the world. You mean to tell me I can make a perfect split around the whole planet through body masses, through land masses, over mountains, over land masses of bodies of water, and make a perfect split GPS? How can you do that? Who can do that? So not only did we have technology to navigate the seas, we had technology to navigate the skies too. Only way you're going to do that if you have some type of flying plane, ship, something that's able to fly and have a bird eye view on the next step to make a perfect split. There are equations and calculations that have to be taken into consideration. Plus, you got to take into consideration how are they able to have a bird's eye view? Now,
Don't know exactly, but a handful of archaeological sites in Africa show that there were improvements in human technology at about the same time as modern humans appeared. Acheulean hand axes by this time were out of date. They'd given way to more sophisticated and versatile toolkits based on the making of flakes, just like you saw with the Neanderthals.
Flakes.
This technology had appeared between 200 and 100,000 years ago. A couple of sites in South Africa document the changes. The Classis River Cave in extreme southeastern Africa lies a short distance from the Indian Ocean and was occupied between 120,000 and 70,000 years ago, this critical time period. The occupation levels of the cave include some fragmentary human remains, among them the bones of anatomically modern people. And then, about 70,000 years ago, the inhabitants of the cave suddenly started making small thin flakes struck from these cores, and blades, long parallel-sided flakes, from fine-grained rock carried in from over 12 miles away. Some of the blades became spear barbs, others became knives. The toolkit was much smaller, lighter, and more versatile.
So they got an upgrade in consciousness with technology. Who did that?
And the flake tools found in earlier layers. So there was a change. And another South African archaeologist, Hilary Deacon, believes that the new toolkit coincided with deteriorating conditions, climatic conditions, during the last cold snap of the Ice Age, which began about 100,000 years ago. Conditions were drier and cooler in southern Africa, the hunt more challenging, those with older, heavier weapons. When conditions became wetter and warmer, the old tools reappeared. In other words, people were experimenting with different toolkits. They were using their brains. Perhaps Classis River and other South African sites are evidence for a new flexibility in human behavior, an ability to adapt to changing circumstances at a level impossible for the Neanderthals and archaic Homo sapiens. It is a fascinating problem, and a problem which will be the starting point for our next lecture, which the fundamental question is, when did people spread out of Africa? When did these modern humans look at the wider world? Here, we've merely laid the foundations. We've looked at how the origins of Homo sapiens are still largely a matter of speculation. But we've argued that the way to...
My fellow primates, welcome to the Free Library of Philadelphia.
My name is Jason Freeman. I'm a producer and editor.
My bad.
Biological anthropology. Lethal human being appeared, the anatomical. It's when everything cognitive really slightly evolved at, it's not individuals. African Eve fucked the ancestral populations is highly uncertain. The biological anthropologist Robert Foley
Hold on, I think it was right
has
here.
argued
Robert Foley.
modern humans most likely evolved at a single location.
Adam and Eve.
He argues too that at about
Adam and Eve.
100,000 years ago or a little earlier,
A million years ago now.
the African savannah, the crucible of the very first.
Hold up. So you mean to tell me we got dinosaurs older than y'all? And then we got pictures of us riding dinosaurs, taming dinosaurs. Riding the Halosaurus. Come on, man. Told y'all, man, we was riding with the dinosaurs. So when these people was mud huts, I'm telling you, man, we was taming dinosaurs, bro.
Would also have been an ideal environment for promoting the speciation of modern humans.
So you mean to tell me, look, even in camp, they talk about the chariots, the boats, the arcs, right? They already got the science on how to build a ship and travel the seas, right? They've been doing it for hundreds and thousands of years. So you mean to tell me another species get to the water, they don't know where to go and what to do or where to even start? What does that mean? If you're intelligent, you can understand that.
That modern humans evolved in a mosaic of changing tropical environments.
Mm-hmm.
And there they developed distinctive characteristics. Remember, knives better. They've given way to sophisticated and versatile toolkits based on the making of flakes, just like you saw with the Neanderthals. This technology, which began about 100,000 years ago, conditions were drier and cooler in southern Africa. The hunt more challenging. Those with older, heavier weapons. When conditions became wetter and warmer, the old tools reappeared. In other words, people were experimenting with different toolkits.
Here we go. I'm going further up.
Wider world.
Here we go.
Here, we've merely laid the foundation. We've looked at how the origins of Homo sapiens are still largely a matter of speculation.
Largely a matter of speculation.
But we've argued that the weight of the evidence strongly suggests that modern humans evolved in sub-Saharan Africa over 100,000 years ago.
Over 100,000. So over a million years ago. That's what no megalith structure.
Some of the anatomical features. We've looked at a technology, but above all, what we have stressed is cognitive ability. This dramatic change in the ability of humans to reason, to plan, and to innovate, and to adapt. Because this is the big issue when we describe, as we will in the next lecture, the spread of modern humans across the Sahara Desert and into the rest of the world. One of the great diasporas of human prehistory.
All right.
These today's numbers?
So now, there's no misconceptions about the name Homo sapiens, sapien. It's split from chimps. We know that. They've been on the planet for over 7 million years. And they still haven't evolving. 7 million years and you still haven't created a megalith structure. Something ain't right. Okay, so now let's see how the Homo sapiens gonna look in the future. Having a human experience. Homo sapien sapien, man. It's a human experience. Human experience. Human experience. Human experience. You a human experience. Human experience. Human experience. Excuse me. Uh, mm. Wow. Wait, just a bit before I start, let me show you how it looks. The future of human species. All right, look. Y'all see that? I'm gonna hold it still a little bit. That's how the Homo sapiens sapien gonna look. Go look up how the Homo sapiens sapien gonna look. It looked like an alien. Then you got all these people talking about grays, scooping them up. It ain't not people getting scooped up. Hey, look. Let me let you see this joint. That's how you're gonna look. That's your ass. That's you in the future, man. Oh man, let one of your brothers tell you how you're gonna look. The future of human species, Homo sapien futurist. Considering the evolution point of view, our species is still very young. Thus, the question that arises very often is what would be our future? Have we reached the climax of evolution or there is scope for more improvement? People often wonder that has development of technology hindered the human evolution as a species? The answer is no, because evolution doesn't necessarily mean developing extra limbs, gaining super strength, or loss of organs. Instead, evolution occurs at smaller levels as well, which we simply don't even realize in our lifetime. Thus, in a way, we can say that since our lives are changing constantly, so our body also tries to adapt to some of these changes. Now, most futurists and anthropologists believe that a set of specific changes is undoubtedly dawning upon the human species. Keeping in mind these changes, they have termed the future humans as Homo sapien futurists. The first noticeable change would be the loss of the fifth toe. This is bound to happen. The process began when our ancestors shifted from an arboreal habitat to a terrestrial habitat. Subsequently, we lost the grasping ability of our foot. And in recent times, where wearing shoes has become a daily phenomenon, our fifth toe is slowly shrinking and losing its usability. The next noticeable change of our body would be the muscle mass decline. Now, there are two implications to this. First theory suggests that since our dependence on that's like the Hawk say, puny humans, puny humans, increasing day by day. Thus, our manual working capability is also decreasing, and in the future, we will lose a lot of muscle mass due to less physical activity. Another theory suggests that the future man will be able to go on space voyages and expeditions, and so, due to the lack of gravity, we will lose some amount of muscle. Another change bound to happen is the loss of body hair. Moving on to facial characters, experts suggest that in course of time, we may lose a nose completely or at least a part of it. Moreover, there are suggestions that we will have a pale skin Homo sapiens as well as big eyes. It is believed that this would be able to improve our eyesight as well. Owing to these features, some people jokingly claim that the future humans will probably look like anime characters. Anyway, jokes apart, another quite interesting point is that if we look closely into the supposed structure of the future humans,
It looks very similar to the Greys. Now, for those who do
Told
not
you.
know who the Greys are, they're actually the most commonly believed alien life forms that visit the Earth. This has led many people to speculate that the Greys are actually future human time travelers. And finally, it is believed that the efficiency of our brain will increase. So that's it for today. Do you agree to these theories? Mention your thoughts in the comment section below.
Boy, you gonna be you connected to the Grays. That's it. You connected to the Grays. That's why you don't got no connection to our people, really, because the future Homo sapiens sapien is a gray. He look like a gray. That's a fact. He look like a gray boy. He look like a gray boy. Some type of flying plane, ship, something that's able to fly and have a bird eye view on the next step to make a perfect split. There are equations and calculations that take into consideration. Plus, you gotta take into consideration. Yeah, still up, dropping juice. All these chumps up talking about. Check this out. You talking about you can't get no rank. You talking about another man. Got no information on yourself. This man said he debunked the Orion belt. Oh my goodness. Go tell archaeologists that you debunked the Orion belt. Fool, you know what you're saying? Can you fly up there and calculate the stars and calculate these joints and line them up to a star? Can you prove that it's not? You don't even got the technology to prove it. How do you know? This fool say he debunked it. You know what it takes to prove that the stars aren't lined up? You said the Pangea, right? Well, obviously, it was done before ahead of time, premeditated, right? And then you have the obelisk and the sphinx to level out the wobble. The obelisk and the pyramids that level out the wobble. Why is that? Let's talk about it, baby. Let's talk about it, baby. Let's talk about it. Make it happen combustion night. A lot of people trying to see what's up with Do the Truth. What I'm gonna do next is waiting to go live. I'm gonna shut a lot of you dudes down. You already know that. I'm gonna shut you down. I didn't know I don't play no games. I'm gonna smother you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna eat you. I'm gonna eat you. That's your brother. Look for him in the street. When you find him, let me know. That's your brother. That's your brother. Don't be trying to wake up nobody that don't look like that. Homo sapiens sapiens. But you're here to wake up the people. Which ones? If you don't got the brain capacity to see and understand what it takes to make a megalith structure, what it takes to make the Sphinx, and why your dumb dingy back butt can't do it to this day. That's actually One of the greatest mysteries in the world. One of the greatest mysteries in the world. These fools can't erect nothing. Listen to this song one more time, man. I'm finna be gone.
Star Nation. Them negative people. Yeah. Dropping truth for your lanes.
Homo sapiens don't know a thing. Get to the water and stop. Make them hot, combust. Boy, I'm taking my word and everything. This boy taking my word. Diggy back, everything, taking my word. Can I have something? Boy, oh Lord. I got these boys hold. Got to your head, bro. I'm sick. How about that? 777, whatever right there. Clown. What else you don't know? Don't know the megalith people. You don't know what top existence. You don't know your constitution. You don't know who built the pyramids again. You don't know who built the Sphinx. You don't know the megalith people. You don't know nothing. You don't know the Homo sapiens sapien exists. What do you know? I'm so tired of you dudes. Well, guess what? When I had enough of y'all, I play you my glory song. You want my glory song? That's why I wear my crown. I wear my crown to separate me from y'all chumps, man. You know what I'm saying? It represents, man. I got the highest science. I got the highest joints. We got the highest joints. All my people wore crowns, man. Helmets. It got a status to it. It means something. Ptah, Olmec, King Selassie. You know what I'm talking about? I got a power stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but talk. Look at my eyes, the fire raw. Bringing out light, I'm feeling like hope. Listen closely, boy. Look at my body, it equals thought. I could create it easy with thought. I got a power stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but talk. Look at my eyes, the fire raw. Bringing out light, and I'm feeling like hope. Look at my body, equals thought. I could create it easy with thought. I got a power, I'm stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but talk. Look at my eyes, the fire raw. Bringing that light, and I'm feeling like hope. Look at my body, equals thought. I could create it easy with thought. I got a power, I'm stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but talk. Through the truth, Star Nation 777. Gotta put on my helmet, I got it. Shout out to all my homies. Tall Star Nation. I put my helmet, I feel it but tall. Look at my eye, the fire raw. Bringing that light, and I'm feeling like tall. Look at my body, equals thought. I can create it easy with thought. I got that power, I'm stronger than hope. I put on my helmet, I feel it but tall. Look at my eyes, that fire raw. Bringing that light, and I'm feeling like tall.
My body crossed up. I could create an ace with them. I got the power, stronger than home. Stronger than home. Stronger than home. King Selassie, you're coming on, boy.
Undefeated champ.
I put on my helmet, I feel it but no. Look at my eyes, I fire around. Bringing that light and I'm feeling like no. Look at my body, equal star. I could create it and hit the top. I got that power, stronger than home, stronger than home, stronger than home, stronger than home. Create out the equal, mind, call in the best. Somebody gotta put on my helmet first, crown on top. Inside your eyes is fire and fire. The you, some kind of fire that will burn within your body. Like you got it. You real child, man, we ain't green, man. You go with me, something.
I put on my helmet, I feel it for top. Look at my eyes, the fire raw. Bringing that light, and I'm feeling like tough. I'm going, chumps. Undefeated champion, do the 2777.